Hello and welcome to the new session in Excel. There are many different methods we can get the data to Excel from SQL Server. Easier and commonly used method is directly fetching the data from table or use of SQL Server database. Even though it is simple, it has many disadvantages like performance and lack of chance to do the manipulation of data. Since we directly connect to the table or the view, if we need only few rows of data in it, we have to filter the data in Excel again. We can overcome this limitation by using store procedure instead of table or views. Today, we will look at how to create a simple store procedure in SQL Server database and use that procedure in Excel to fetch the data. We will create the store procedure with two parameters so that we can pass the values to stored procedure through these parameters dynamically. There are four main steps in doing the whole process. First is creating a store procedure in SQL Server, then creating a ODBC connection to the SQL Server. Third step is writing a MS SQL query in Excel to call the above store procedure via ODBC. And fourth and final step is formatting the parameter prompt and linking the Excel cell values as input to the parameter. Now let us begin. First, let us create the store procedure. To create the store procedure, let us open the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is already open. So we'll go to the database where we want to create the store procedure. Here AdventureWorks is the database where we want to create a store procedure. Here I already created the store procedure, so no need to create it again. The syntax for the store procedure is like this: create proc or procedure and the procedure name followed by the parameters. The from date, from order date is a datetime data type, and the second parameter is to order date, that is also a datetime type. So please note that you should have all the parameters should be prefixed with @ and then here the simple select statement. And what we are doing here is selecting these fields, the sales order ID, order date, due date, and all these fields from the table called sales order header. So in a normal scenario, if you are fetching the data from table or view, so we can get only up to this, but we will not have this where clause where we can restrict the data, restrict which rows to come to the Excel or which we don't require. We can filter it out at the SQL Server itself. So that is where the store procedures comes handy. So here we used where clause with order date between the from order date and to order date. So this is what we are going to pass from Excel, the from order date and to order date. Now once this store procedure is done, so since it is already created, I am not going to run again. So this is done. So next step is to create the ODBC ODBC to the SQL Server, because from Excel we are going to use the ODBC to execute the store procedure. So let us go and create the ODBC. Since the system which I am using now is a 64-bit operating system, it is given two options like 32-bit and 64-bit ODBC data source setup window. So let us create the default one, the 64-bit. Here there are two options. There is a user DSN and the system DSN. The user DSN will be visible only for the current user who is logged in now. The system DSN will be visible for all the user whoever logs into this system. So let us create a SQL Server ODBC connection. So we'll go to click on add, and here we'll create select the SQL Server native client and say finish. So it pops with the name. So we'll just give as a test, and here the test. and I will give my server name. This is SQL server name, and here either I can here I will use the user ID and password to connect to this. Next comes the default database. Here I will use the AdventureWorks, and I can keep this or I can just uncheck it. There's no problem. So click next, finish, and we'll just test it whether this connection is. So now it says test completed successfully. Is okay. So let us not use this because we already created one. So I'm going to use the AdventureWorks. This is nothing but again it is connected to the IT, the same server. So now the second step is over, where we created a ODBC or data source name, the DSN, and so we'll move on to the third step. Third step is we'll go back to the Excel. So to call the store procedure, we'll go to the menu option, data, and you can see there from other sources. Instead of from SQL Server, let us use from Microsoft Query. So this opens up a window where we choose the data source. So we'll select the data source, the AdventureWorks, which we created before, and click on OK. Here, either you can use the login, SQL login and its password, user ID and password, the SQL user ID and password, or you can use the trusted connection. So for simplicity, I am just using the trusted connection. Click on OK. This is the choose columns window. So this we don't require because we are going to use the store procedure. So we don't require all these columns and table selections. We'll cancel this. So it will pop up with, do you want to continue editing this query in Microsoft Query? Yes, we want to do that in Microsoft Query. So again it is prompting to add tables. This also we don't require, we just close it. This is a Microsoft Query window where we'll write the query to call the store procedures. So we'll click on the SQL button here. So this pops up a window where we'll write the SQL statement. Syntax for calling the store procedure is start with a flower bracket, then call, then the procedure name. Procedure name is EX get sales. If you are wondering what this is, so let us go back to this. So this is what I have written there. Let us copy this and we can paste it there as well. I'm going back to the same query window. So this is a procedure name. Then we are opening a parenthesis. Then we will put the question mark for each parameter. So we have two parameters. We put a question mark, then comma, the separator of the parameter, then one more question mark, close the parenthesis, then close the flower bracket as well. Now click on OK button. So that comes with one more window. Say OK. So it's prompting you for a parameter 1. Let us give a date. Parameter 1 is nothing but a from date, and the parameter 2 is the to order date. We'll give it like 2001 0701, the July 1st 2001, and second parameter, the to order date, we'll enter as 31st July 2001 and click on OK. So you can see the data between the order date between the 1st July here until the 31st July. This is 31st July. So this is how the data is restricted from that table. If you look back to this, if you look this table, originally it has a data up 31,465 is starting from July 1st 2001 till 2004 July 31st. So what we have done here is we just ask the query to fetch only the data for 1 month, July 1st to July 31st of 2001. So now this is done. So now we'll go back to Excel. There are two ways you can go back to Excel. One is return data to Excel. Here there's a button, or you can use file and return data to Microsoft Excel. This will bring our focus back to the original workbook where we started the query. So it is asking from where you want to display the data and which cell you should be the starting position. So instead of starting from A1, let us start somewhere in the maybe from A4, so that we will have some place to put the title or header or anything like. So we'll just select the A4 cell and click OK. Now you can see all the data is displayed here. The same order what is available in the database. So we'll just reformat the columns. This is this displaying the date as well as the time. So we just need a date. So let us change the format. Select the column and format cells. Go to the format, make it date. And these GH, IJ columns are amount columns. So we'll change it to the amount, and all this will align it to center. And we'll do one more thing. So we'll change the properties and we'll remove the adjust column width, so that when we refresh the data, this is not going to be, the column width remains same. So if you want the new data, we can just again refresh it. So it will again ask you for the parameter. We can put a different parameter. Let us put a different parameter like 0804 is 4th August 2001. And 7th August 2001. So if you look at this, so from 4th August till 7th August, you can see the data. So this ends the third step. So now the fourth step, where we change the format or we rename the parameters, and we'll do the final finishing touch for the worksheet. If you notice, when you refresh the data, there are two ways you can refresh the data. You can go to the refresh button here and refresh it, or you can right click here and refresh it. It is prompting with the text as a parameter 1. So user may not be able to know what this parameter 1 means. Is it a date, or is it a customer ID, or is it a sales order ID, what it is. So we'll give a name which can be understood by the user. So we'll go to the data tab again and connection. Click on properties, go to the definition, click on parameters, and here you can change the parameter. We'll say order from date, and the second parameter is order to date. Click OK, click OK again, and here. So now we'll try to refresh it. So there's order from date, and the second one is order to date. If you notice here, there is a way, instead of inputting the value, typing the value, you can always refer to the cell. This symbol indicates you can refer to the cell somewhere on the sheet. So we will put some cell. So this is our from date field, and so this is our to date field. So now we'll refresh it. So instead of typing it, what we'll do is we'll order from date, we'll say from here, say OK, and order to is from here, click OK. Notice this, so we are asking the Excel to fetch data only from 4th August to 6th August. Presently it is displaying from 4th to 7th. Click OK. So you have data only from 4th to 6th. So now we'll change it to 7. What happens? So nothing is happening. So again we have to refresh it. So again we have to link this to the same cell. Instead what we can do is we'll select the same order date and say use this value reference for future refresh, and to date is this, and again this also will click it. So you can see up to 7th it is displaying. Now again we'll change it to say 5th, but even though we change it here, till you refresh it, it is not going to change. So sometimes this user may forget to refresh it, so better to change the data as we change this date, either from date or to date. If any one is changed, immediately we should get the new data. So what we can do is, again we'll go to the connection and go to the properties, definition, parameters, and there is a place where you can say refresh automatically when cell value changes. We'll mark this, and second option parameter as well will say automatically when the cell value changes. We want the data to be refreshed as soon as the user changes either from date or to date. You click on OK. So OK, and now we'll try to change this data. So you can notice this, immediately the data is getting changed. So this is from 4, 5, 6, 3 days data. Now I'm just changing from 5 and 6, so only 2 days data. So this is how we can dynamically pass the parameter from Excel and fetch the data only for that duration. So main advantage is it fetches the data which is only just required for the user from the SQL server, so that instead of fetching all the data, the 31,000 odd data from the system, it is fetching only say 10 or 12 rows which is required by the user. Sometimes this changing the data as soon as you type this may not be a good option for in some scenario, because user want to wait till, suppose if he is changing the date here 8, and he don't want this to be executed till he changes the to date as well. So what we can do is, again we'll go to the connection, properties, definition, and the parameter. So here you can uncheck this, refresh automatically when the cell value changes, or parameter 2 you can say refresh automatically when the cell changes. Whichever, either you can uncheck both, or you can keep one checked and other one unchecked. If you have say 10 parameters, all 9 parameters you can keep it unchecked, and when the 10th parameter changes only you want the Excel to execute that and get the new data. So here I'm keeping as it is. So as soon as you change the date here from date or to date, accordingly the data gets refreshed. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed the session and may be useful to you in the future. See you soon. Thank you.